Leftovers.
It's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them. So if they suck, we'll immediately transfer Joe Mackey to Late Night with Stephen Colbert. Speaking of, CBS announced they are indeed ending the late-night comedy show, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, next year. Fans were shocked. They had no idea it was comedy. And truly, it was a rough day for the show's viewer. Meanwhile, CBS says they'll replace it with something funnier: 2 episodes of Forensic Files. Jimmy Kimmel blasted the decision with a foul-mouthed post on Instagram. He would have done it on his show, but he wanted people to see it. Karine Jean-Pierre is expected to sit down with White House investigators in September regarding the Biden cover-up. But first, she has to get time off from Starbucks. I know. Good for her. Yeah. On The View this week, Joy Behar reflected on her own stand-up comedy career, saying, quote, "It's so hard. It's like I'm on stage naked and everybody else has clothes." I hate to correct you, Joy, but if you're on stage naked, nothing is hard. Amazon MGM announced they're going to reboot the 90s classic Basic Instinct. In this new modern version, when the woman uncrosses her legs, a dick falls out. Yeah, I know. Probably could have been stated more elegantly. When does a dick fall out? All right. Reports of a person stuck in a canal in California turned out to be an abandoned blow-up doll. Thankfully, she was safely returned to her owner. The Department of Health and Human Services will now end federal funding for sex changes on children. Yeah. I agree. So now, if a boy wants to get rid of his testicles, he has to do it the old-fashioned way, by marrying Meghan Markle. You're a good one. A man named Daniel McCormick married conjoined twin Carmen Andrade. But he says he'll always think of her sister as the one who almost got away. That was funny. All right. So yeah, CBS is canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I guess that makes it the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. But I bet it was a fantastic job, and I wish someone else was getting it.
It is a fantastic job. I wish somebody else was getting it. I am extraordinarily, deeply grateful to the 200 people who work here. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of The Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away.
So yeah, he's not being replaced. The show's gone for good, meaning he killed the brand like a female Dylan Mulvaney. I mean, that's kind of like one guy making a Big Mac so bad they shut down the entire McDonald's. But maybe we should try to be nice about this. There's a first time for everything. But he mentioned a staff of about 200 people who are out of a job. But we do this show with less than 15% of that number, and some of them are disabled. That is just... And you say I don't do Make-A-Wish. And yet we bring in as many viewers which is nuts when you consider that Fox can be seen in just 61 million homes, but CBS reaches nearly 300 million Americans. But enough patting myself on the back, even though I just had it shaved. Now, CBS said the cancellation was for financial reasons and had nothing to do with content. That's not even the funny part. But he's declined in ratings every year since we got there. He's lost more people. He's lost more people than Alejandro Mayorkas. And that decline can't be a good business model, considering Colbert was reportedly raking in over $15 million a year. For perspective, that's The View's budget for ham. Of course, we don't have that problem here. Like Trump, I don't take a salary. Instead, choosing to donate it to hardworking single moms who dance the afternoon shift. God bless him. But Colbert was on the wrong side of a lot of things. You almost wonder if his days were numbered when he did this. You know, it could be his show died from long COVID or myocarditis. If I were responsible for that, I'd request a syringe for my lethal injection. And there were lots of moments like that which signaled the beginning of the end. Remember this? Yeah, between syringes and Chuck Schumer, Colbert sure loves to dance with tools. Point is, somewhere along the way, he forgot that the show was supposed to be fun. Hell, last night he had Adam Schiff on. I guess Randy Weingarten was busy getting her balls waxed. But she plays pickleball, and you gotta wax those balls. But some people aren't taking the news well.
The biggest concern is that they feel like they have to self-censor themselves because they're afraid of what that means for retribution. And that's why I think you have people concerned about the canceling of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
This shocked the media and the entertainment industries. I was out with some other media reporters last night, and people were staring at their phones in disbelief.
So this looks to a lot of Colbert's fans like another form of capitulation by CBS to the President of the United States.
Shocked! First it's dudes who use women's restrooms, then it's the Maryland dad, now Colbert. They always pick the wrong heroes. Except for Brian Stelter, who goes for the Italian on sourdough bread. This comes as Shane Gillis just hosted the ESPYs. Talk about a change. Just listen to this perfect zinger.
When Caitlin Clark retires from the WNBA, she's going to work at a Waffle House so she can continue doing what she loves most, fist-fighting black women.
That's our turf. Of course, others at ABC still don't get it, right, ladies?
You know, hosting an award show is a tough game.
It really is.
Yeah. So I'll ask you, think he read that room correctly?
No.
He did?
Basically, when you do an awards show, they're there to hear their name called. They are not there to laugh, number one.
Fun fact, "Not there to laugh" is printed on tickets to see Joy Behar. Right above where it says, "Please refrain from throwing sardines at the stage." Now, you can blame changing ways people view content, but Colbert turned what was a wacky, irreverent institution into Keith Olbermann with early onset dementia. He replaced jokes with sanctimonious lectures. It no longer mattered to him that he wasn't funny, but that he was just a better person. So you got to wonder if Jimmy Kimmel is next. But who knows? No. His job might be safe. The last thing ABC wants to do is fire a black man. I know. Must be my body spray. Happy Monday, everyone. All right, it was 1 year ago today that President Biden dropped out of the 2024 campaign. Yep. Time flies when you're dead. Meanwhile, his son Hunter unleashed on George Clooney and the Democrats for being disloyal to his father, adding, "I know about loyalty. When my brother died, I stepped up and banged his wife." Over the weekend, WNBA All-Stars wore shirts that said, "Pay us what you owe us." And no, it wasn't aimed at the league. It was directed at their shift supervisor at Pep Boys. Oh. Caitlin Clark had to miss the All-Star game due to an injury. Sports fans, though, say there's still plenty of good reasons to watch the WNBA. For instance, if someone has a gun to your head. I know that joke is controversial because a lot of people would choose the gun. Karen Bass claimed that ICE kidnapped an L.A. mother on her way to work, but prosecutors say it was a hoax. Karen swears by the story, saying she heard about it from her boyfriend in Chicago. And she was told to keep looking for the real culprit by her other ex-boyfriend. Katy Perry was left dangling midair on a giant butterfly after a prop malfunctioned during her concert. Attendees were very concerned that the concert would continue. And finally, after finding out Stephen Colbert was canceled, Stacey Abrams posted photos from her many appearances on the show. She alluded that those were happier times when she could still fit in a chair. Oh. I'm not making her eat Twinkies. But I would. So apparently firing Stephen Colbert, who was paid $20 million a year while his show lost $50 million, it wasn't due to economics. It was fascism. That, according to all the Democrats currently white knighting for him. Because you recall from history class, the first thing Adolf Hitler did was cancel Late Night with Shecky von Bismarck. But they never get that the free market means exactly that. Free to fire someone who's stinking up a market. Like they took a dump in the produce section. That show, his show, was like the dope who maxes out his credit card because he thinks the stripper really likes him. Ooh, you got two jokes for the price of one. But that's not fascism, that's math. But for the left, math is what happens to other people. Which is why cretins like Chris Murphy are panicking like Hunter Biden when his dealer's phone goes right to voicemail. But are we on the precipice of entering a censorship state?
We are on the precipice of entering a censorship state in which Donald Trump is using the powers of the federal government in order to erase criticism from the airwaves. Stephen Colbert didn't get thrown off the air because he wasn't doing well.
Why's he doing that on the toilet? Dude, you're a politician and you're taking a dump while doing this? He's got to prove that he didn't. He's taking a dump. All right, so it's true. Colbert didn't cancel because he wasn't doing well. It was because he was doing horrendously. But even Rosie got the news between feeding times.
What's going on with Stephen Colbert, right? One of the most brilliant minds we've ever had in comedy. CBS decided to give in to the blackmail that Donald Trump forced them to.
Oof. There's not enough Guinness in Dublin to turn her into a 3.
There's a lot of Guinness in Dublin. I've been there.
And others are ready to eulogize free speech.
If you don't think we are under a regime with an authoritarian strategy, then you are bugging. This is not just a media story. It's a free speech funeral in slow motion.
This has not been a great week for free speech and speaking truth to power.
A funeral? Please. A funeral would get more laughs. Colbert should have started his monologues with my condolences. But the left's political class kept piling on. Liz Warren, Adam Schiff, Tim Walz, Hakeem Jeffries. Jesus, I could feel my IQ plummeting just by listing those names. Thank God AOC wasn't in there or I would have flatlined. And now the Writers Guild of America wants an investigation into the cancellation. Somehow that killing a bad show is criminal. Hey, Writers Guild, you know what's criminal? Churning out garbage like The Big Bang Theory and How I Met Your Mother. They should have combined those two shows and called it How I Banged Your Mother. So why don't these elites freak out when working Americans lose their jobs? Non-federal workers who bring value to the economy, not dying institutions that bleed money serving their agenda. It's weird how they only take pride in things that are subsidized, crap that doesn't require actual success to survive. They think Colbert is a government program. Who cares if it costs a lot and it sucks? It made them feel good to know it was there. But don't you dare touch it, because that's fascism. Because to them, everything is fascist, except, actual fascism. Cuba, Venezuela, China, all the places where Tim Walz or Bernie Sanders consider great honeymoon spots. All those regimes crush dissent, jail opposition, and murder journalists. That's the fascism that these bags ignore. But a smug millionaire loses his desk and fake skyline, and it's the death of democracy. Hell, that desk costs more than my whole staff. And we still keep beating them in the ratings. The fact that CBS was losing millions but kept him on the air is the very definition of propaganda. When a business puts aside the bottom line for the message instead, well, you know what they say. If it walks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, but eats like an elephant, it's probably Joy Behar.